How's it going, folks? So, I'm going to discuss the reaction that Gavin Newsome had with the federal court upholding Texas's abortion law. You see, Gavin Newsome has done what Gavin Newsome does best and falsely framed this whole ordeal. What do I mean by this? Well, let's read the abortion law itself. From what I've read on the abortion law, is that the people who can be sued are abortion providers who provide illegal abortions in certain circumstances, and the cap is $10,000. Gavin Newsome, on the other hand, says he wants to do this with guns, which is a newsflash. Gavin Newsome's side of the aisle has been trying this and more with firearms for quite some time. And in fact, lawsuit abuse is the reason why we have the PLCAA. And for those of you who don't know what the PLCAA is, basically it says that you can't sue an FFL who's followed the law and then a criminal has taken their product or somebody has taken their product and used it in a crime later on. The reason why this is in place is because you had gun control activists prior to it being put in place, and even some of them afterwards have tried to get around it. But prior to the law being put in place, you had gun control activists suing manufacturers and FFLs when somebody got a hold of their product and used it in a crime. This would be akin to, say, suing Ford because somebody got behind the wheel of an F-150 while they were drunk and got into an accident. It doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. Also, Gavin Newsome has been heavily restrictive on firearms, or as restrictive as he could in his political career. And in fact, his state has for decades had a restrictive take on firearms. Example, this pistol right here is illegal to own in California. Why? Because it's chambered in 50 Action Express. Is this pistol being used a lot in crimes? No. In fact, it's impractical for a number of reasons. A pistol's a large pistol, hard to conceal. It's an expensive pistol. The rounds are harder to find and a bit more expensive. It's just not a practical choice for the common street criminal to use. That being said, that ban is still in place in California. Another one, this rifle. Now, I understand Duncan v. Monta is still going in to be appealed, and we're hoping that that actually does successfully overturn the ban on rifles like these in California. However, gun controllers like to make the claim that we need to ban rifles like these, even though these are not being used in crime. All you have to do is look at the FBI crime statistics. First off, rifles aren't widely used in crimes to begin with. And even the AR-15, millions of people own these, and the people that own these generally are not using them in crime. Yet, for decades now, rifles like these have had a ban on them. Now, obviously, there are cosmetic modifications that have been done, to try to make these rifles like these comply with California's laws. However, California is constantly moving the goalpost on the restrictions, and many federal courts have upheld various firearms restrictions solely on the ground that the state makes a claim public safety. Notice how I said makes a claim, not actually has to back that claim up. So yeah, there's a lot of false framing with this. So just on that alone, Gavin Newsome is not being honest. And for those who don't really pay attention to the debate quite so much, you will find the gun control side of the aisle is rarely ever intellectually honest. And many of the people I talk to who don't really pay attention to the debate, and then they started really looking into the debate, there are a lot of them that are just shocked at how intellectually dishonest the gun control side really is. To me, I've been in the debate for a while, so this is really not a surprise to me. However, it's a surprise to the average person when they actually start looking at the debate. Furthermore, I mean, outside of firearms and abortion, Gavin Newsom really doesn't have a leg to stand on either. Let's look at the restrictions that were put in place by Gavin Newsom, in part by him, in part by his state, when the virus that became an issue in 2020 became an issue. You had people who didn't want to close their businesses. They wanted the right to choose to keep this business, which they put their heart and soul in, open so it doesn't go out of business, so they can keep doing business. The people like Gavin Newsom didn't care. The people who said, well, hey, shouldn't I be able to choose whether or not I wear a mask? Well, that was of no consequence to people like Gavin Newsom. When it comes to this experimental vaccine, many of these people who scream, my body, my choice, when it comes to abortion, all of a sudden are silent when it comes to these people. In fact, not silent. They're actually saying, well, take the jab. Take this experimental vaccine. So my body, my choice really didn't mean a damn thing to these people. And if you're one of these people that this message applies to, well, you really shouldn't be getting upset at the messenger on this now, should you? You should really stop and have a rethink about what you were advocating for. Because it's really hard to take you serious when you've been doing all this stuff when it comes to guns, when it comes to, the whole COVID response thing and various other things. But then when it comes to abortion, all of a sudden, my body, my choice. No, it just seems like, you don't really care about the my body, my choice part. It's just that one thing, abortion, is the only thing you care about. And got to say, it, from a person who might be fighting to keep their business in business, they're not going to have a whole bunch of sympathy for you, especially after you've been advocating for those measures, when you turn around and say, my body, my choice, when it comes to abortion. It's just really hard to take you seriously. And for those who have been principled through this whole thing, I'm sorry, it sucks. I mean, unfortunately, we have a lot of back and forth, and I wish people would be more focused on protecting our freedoms versus going and imposing their will on others. But anyway, we have the comment section below. Thank you all for watching. Y'all take it easy out there and have a great day.